Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hello everybody, Q&A the Lair here, and I've got a hardware review for you this week, and those of you who regularly watch my channel will know that I haven't done one of these for absolutely ages, and as I think I said in my last one, which I can't remember what it was, now it was so long ago, I know what it was Mega Drive 1 versus Mega Drive 2. So in a way this video is related. I think I might have even mentioned I was going to make this video in that one. But I rarely have time to film hardware reviews because they're very time consuming. Not just the filming, setting everything up, finding the stuff in my storage boxes, and obviously because the videos are longer, they take a lot of more editing and rendering and stuff as well. So they are the longest and hardest videos in many ways to make. Yeah, but I have got quite a few that I want to try and do, so I am going to try and find some time to do them. I'm feeling absolutely terrible today, but I've managed to force myself to get this set up and get it done because I really wanted to get it out there for you. And as you can see, this is for the Sega Mega CD, and I picked this one up off Marketplace. I paid £50 for it, and it came with a Mega Drive. I think it was a Mega Drive 1. Yeah, it was a Mega Drive 1. I'm trying to remember. I think it's actually the one that's to the right of it just now. So it's 50 quid for the Mega Drive and Mega CD. All the cables as well, actually. And there was a few games, Mega Drive games, no Mega CD games. There was just a few. I think it was like 3 or 4 pretty standard Mega Drive games, Sonic the Hedgehog and FIFA and stuff like that. Nothing particularly exciting, but no box, just the Mega CD. Now, I used to have a Mega CD 1, and I actually sold it. I never did a review of it for my channel for some reason. I don't know why. And I sold the Mega CD and all the games because when I got married, I was trying to raise some money, one, to pay for the wedding, and 2, to pay for the honeymoon. And I sold off some bits and pieces that I wasn't so fussed about. And I decided that the Mega CD would be one because I never really played on it very much. And at that point, Mega CD stuff had just started to go for stupid money. It goes for even more stupid money now than it did then, but I made a massive profit on it because my original Mega CD 1 that I had, I paid just £25 for, and I sold it for 100. So yeah, I made a pretty good profit on that. I never had a Mega CD 2 until now, so I've got one here now, which I probably will keep. And there's something quite interesting about this particular Mega CD 2 as well, which I will go into in a moment. So there we go. So what I'll do now is actually I'll stick a picture of the Mega CD 1 up in the corner so you can see the difference between them, because there is quite a considerable difference, because the Mega CD 1 was front loading with a drawer that came out like old school CD players did and fitted underneath the Mega Drive, whereas the Mega CD 2 is a flip lid like more modern stuff CD drives are. Obviously it's designed to go with the Mega Drive 2 rather than the Mega Drive 1, with it fitting next to it to sort of look like all one unit. So it looks less like an add-on, and when the Mega Drive is attached to it, it looks like all one console basically. So yes, there's quite a considerable difference between the two. The Mega CD, the original Mega CD, was released in Japan in end of 1991, December, October 1992 in the US, and April 1993 in PAL regions. So as usual, as it always used to be back then, PAL regions got shafted and ended up getting stuff like 2 or 3 years later than Japan, which I always thought was nuts. That never happens now. It really didn't. That kind of thing kind of stopped happening from about, I suppose, the 32-bit era onwards. The timescales between releases started to get less. There were a few consoles that pretty much released in all regions at the same time, like the 3DO, for example. Is probably a good example of that. So consoles after that, it started to get smaller and smaller. Obviously, today's modern consoles, there's never a wait. We all get them at the same time. But there we go. Yeah, I mean, it was launched to compete with the PC Engine CD, because at that time the PC Engine was the market leader in Japan. It had just taken over in sales from the Famicom. It was doing very, very well. The Super CD add-on that NEC launched, first such add-on for any system, the first CD attachment for any console. In fact, the first console that could use CDs was the PC Engine. And it was doing well. There's the CD-ROM unlocked new potential, like soundtracks, and although the PC CD couldn't do full motion video, they would still put like animated cutscenes in. It's kind of similar, I suppose, in a way, because you had all that extra memory to play with. And the Mega Drive was desperately trying to claim market share off the PC Engine in Japan, and so Sega decided that they would launch a CD unit of their own, and one that enhanced the abilities of the Mega Drive. So for a start, it could do full motion video. It had its own CPU in it, which is the same as the Mega Drive CPU. So we had another multi-roller 68,000. So it gave it more processing power. And it also gave it the ability to do scaling and rotation, which is a pretty big thing, because obviously that was some things that were put into the Super Nintendo, and they put them into the Mega CD. And originally the Mega Drive was going to have a scaling chip in it, because obviously as Sega's Super Scaler arcade games, it's going to have that hardware in it. And they cut that idea at last minute because they decided it was too expensive. But they returned to it with the Mega CD and gave it the ability to scale graphics. The big problem was, or CD audio obviously as well, but the big problem was that the colour restrictions were still there. So it still had the same colour palette, and it could still only display 64 colours on the screen without tricks. So the full motion video on the Mega CD looked terrible and got widely mocked at the time. And I think it was one of the early nails in the Mega CD's coffin was that the full motion video was grainy, low colour, and looked pretty awful, especially when all the companies at that time decided that they were just going to make games that used loads of full motion video, or they took existing Mega Drive games, stuck a stupid full motion video intro on the beginning, perhaps some CD sound, and re-released it. They didn't release enough games, certainly not the beginning of the Mega CD's life, that took advantage of those new abilities properly. Everyone is still baffled why Sega never launched the Mega CD with all the Super Scaler games. I mean, it makes no sense. When they had the Mega CD out, the launch lineup should have been Outrun, Space Harrier, Afterburner, Galaxy Force. It should have been all of those Super Scaler games, you know, as they were in the arcades. And people would have lapped them up. That would have given the people a reason to have bought this. But for some reason they didn't. I think it's because they'd already ported those games to the Mega Drive. But obviously the Mega Drive versions were nowhere near as good as the Super Scaler counterparts. But there's other Super Scaler games, you know, they never released in the home as well. So, you know, especially not on the Mega Drive. Line of Fire, for example, is one that springs to mind. AB Cop is another one. So they could have taken those games and Chopper Rescue, is it? Something like that. There was one something like that as well. Yeah, they could have put those on the Mega CD as well. And yeah, they missed a trick big time. There were some good Mega CD games later on that took advantage of the machine. Mainly the stuff by Core Design like Soul Star and BC Racers, stuff like that. But yeah, not enough. And another good one actually to mention, Final Fight CD, of course, which was amazing. Silkpeed, another one I want to mention, actually one of my favourite Mega CD games. But I could go on about the games thing forever. So what we want to do is just have a quick look at the unit itself. Right, so there we can see the plate where you put your console. I'll go into that in a minute. Here's our flip lid. And there is what looks like, it might look like on camera, a window there, but it's actually not. You see it's solid, it's not a window on there. Indented, says our CD drive. Not a lot more to it, really, than that. On the back, we have line out right and left. So we've got some stereo outputs, which is quite good because obviously the Mega Drive 2 didn't have a stereo output jack like the Mega Drive 1 did. So that's cool that it's got that. We've got AC adapter there. And on the bottom, not a lot really. Our usual vents and serial numbers and all that stuff. So there's not really much to show as such with the unit. So let's go into how these attach. So I've got a Mega Drive 2 first of all here, which is obviously what it was designed to go with. So if you look on the bottom of there, you can see those grooves on the bottom of the Mega Drive 2. So basically what you'll do is groove there, and then the same at the bottom. So what we're trying to do is basically get those grooves that are on the unit in line. I've just realised something stupid. Of course, I haven't taken the expansion port cover off. So it's not going to fit on, is it, if I've not taken the expansion port cover off? So there we go. Obviously, I've got to expose the expansion port. Let's take the plate off again. Okay, so trying to do that one-handed on camera was near impossible because I needed both hands to do it. So I've done it now, so you can see that it fits all together perfectly, and looks bloody lovely, doesn't it? Really nice design, looks really good. Really does make it look like it's a proper all-in-one console. And most people say that they prefer the Mega CD 1, they prefer the way it looks. I massively prefer the Mega CD 2. Give me the looks of the Mega Drive 1 over the looks of the Mega Drive 2 any day. It's a much nicer looking console. But Mega Drive 1 and Mega CD 1 doesn't look anywhere near as good for me as Mega CD 2 and Mega Drive 2, because it has that all-in-one console look, which is so much better. And yes, that's how it all fits together. Excellent stuff. And of course you could whack a 32X in there as well, if you wanted to, for the ultimate console there. Actually, when I worked for Game back in the day, I had this rich lady come into the store where I worked, and she literally said, I want to get my son the best console I can buy him that has the most games. And so at that point it would have been really between a 3DO or selling them the complete Mega Drive setup. So we didn't have any Jaguars in stock, because we never did, because they used to sell out as soon as they came in. So I said to her, explain the choices. The 3DO, but it didn't have many games of 3DO at that point. And I said, or the Mega Drive. And she said, my son was saying about he wanted Sonic the Hedgehog and something or other, she said, about Mega Drive. And I said, well, that's what you want then. So I sold her Mega CD. I sold her Mega Drive 2, Mega CD 2, and a 32X. And nobody in the shop could believe it. I think it set her back about £800. pretty amazing. And she bought a few games as well, I think. But yeah, I'll still never forget selling someone a complete mushroom setup. So that's the Mega Drive 2 on. So let's have a look at getting the Mega Drive 1 on. And this is where it gets interesting. And I said about there was something interesting about this this unit at the beginning. And that's because what Sega did was they created an extension plate, which is what you can see here, for people who wanted to use the Mega CD 2 with a Mega Drive 1. Because obviously the Mega Drive 1 is a lot longer. So this is where it got complicated. So you have to fit this onto the side. It doesn't exactly snap on. It just fits onto there because you've got to get the actual console on. So obviously that extends the length of it. But what we've also got here is another plate as well, which you need to use to connect the Mega Drive onto it. So again, I'm going to jump shot here because I'm not going to be able to do all this with one hand. So there it is, the Mega Drive 1 connected up to the Mega CD 2. Doesn't look quite so good because it's taller for a start. So you've got that big height difference between the two. And the design aesthetic doesn't work quite as well. Although doing this extender thing was a good idea. And I'll just show you how that works with the extra plate, because that goes on the bottom. So I'll just show you that, which is how you kept it in place. So yeah, you can see that plate goes across there. You're supposed to screw it in. So there's two screw holes there. And then that holds it in place so it doesn't fall off the end. And that's how that worked. Very, very clever indeed. And a rather good idea. So there we go. So that's how the Mega Drive 1 works with the Mega CD 2. I think I said in a previous video that you couldn't use the Mega Drive 2 really with the Mega CD 1. And I just need to clarify that point, because I had a couple of people complaining, saying, yes, you can, it works fine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it does, but it looks rubbish and it doesn't fit together properly. That was my point, is that whereas there is a way in the design itself to use the Mega Drive 1 with the Mega CD 2, because they created this plate, they didn't create anything to put on the Mega CD 1 to make them, to make the Mega Drive 2 fit on it properly and not look stupid. So yeah, that's how that's what I meant by that. I've just noticed here actually I have got one Mega CD, because there was actually one in the drive when I got it, which I didn't notice until after I got home. It said there was no games with it, but I do actually have a copy of weirdly, the Soul Star demo disc. So I think this was given away free with a magazine, probably that Sega Pro or something. So I can put a CD in it there. Soul Star and the Mega CD, absolutely brilliant. Easily one of my favourite Mega CD games, actually. So good. So yeah, that's how all that works, and with our Mega CD in there as well. So really that just leaves me with a whole is the Mega CD worth getting kind of thing that I always do at the end on my hardware reviews. And yes, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's like a mad essential. And I'll go into the reasons why, the pluses and minuses, so to speak. Yes, I think it's worth getting, because if you're a Mega Drive collector, definitely you have to get one, because you want to have the full setup. And also it does have some really good games. Not quite enough of them, but for example, I mentioned loads, all the core design stuff, and I mentioned Silpede and Final Fight CD. They're all essential games. There's also The Terminator, that's another good one that's just sprung to mind. Kyo Flying Squadron, that's another one. That's Robo Leste, that's another one that springs to mind. So there is some good stuff out there for the Mega CD. There's all the FMV stuff as well, if you like that kind of thing. I can't stand FMV games. So you've got all stuff like Night Trap, of course, most famously because that was the first game in America to get a film certificate, so to speak, on it, an 18 rating. Why, I don't know, because there's actually literally nothing in it that's scary, and there's no nudity in it. You see a girl in her underwear very briefly. It was really, really overhyped. That probably helped sell it a bit, but I can remember my friend getting it. I had actually one of my best friends, my next door neighbour, had a Mega CD, and he bought Night Trap based on the hype, and we were so disappointed by it. Thought it was a crap game. So there we go. There's all the FMV stuff. Make My Video. Sewer Shark is another famous one. God, there's loads of those digital pictures produced FMV games, and then there's lots of conversions of old Laserdisc games like Road Avenger, Dragon's Lair, Time Gal, Space Ace, those kind of ones as well. You know, the Chopper Commandos, of course, came with the Mega CD in PAL regions. There's all those kind of ones as well. But that's not why I play it. I mean, to be honest, when I had mine, the games I used to play the most was Soulstar, Silpede, Final Fight CD. I used to enjoy Afterburner 3 a lot, actually. The jury seems to be out. A lot of people don't seem to rate that, but I thought Afterburner 3 was brilliant because it was the only super scaler game that was actually converted to the Mega CD. So I really liked Afterburner 3 and it had an amazing soundtrack as well. What's the other one? There's another one that was not Sega Superscaler. It was a Taito game, and I cannot for the life of me think what it was called. It was a bit like Night. Oh God, I can't think. I keep thinking Night Stalker. It's not Night Stalker, but it's something like that. Oh, this is going to really annoy me now. But if it comes to my mind, I'll say it. There's a title one where you fly into the screen. It's got all scaling graphics. They did a version for the Saturn as well, but I can't bloody remember the name of it. God, that's going to really annoy me. I'll have to. If I remember what it is, I'm going to stick it up on the screen in the top right hand corner. So then you'll see it before or you can shout at me in the comments. But yeah, that showed the scaling effects of the console really nicely as well. Whatever that game was called. But yeah, so there's reasons for getting it. Reasons not to get it is, as I say, I don't think there was enough good games. There was all the crap FMV stuff. There's also loads of games that were barely different to the cartridge version, stuff like Flashback and Wolf Child and Theme Park and Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, where all they did was add intros and CD sounds, and that was about it. Nothing to really make you rush out and and buy it. So there's those games as well on it. So and also these games are so expensive now. Have a look on eBay. There were not really any cheap Mega CD games. Even the stuff that was the pack-ins like Cobra Command and Soul Feast, and there was the stupid Sega Arcade Classics collection they did where it had like Golden Axe and Streets of Rage in it, but they were one player. Which was really stupid. Even those don't go for that cheap. So, if you get, and you can't just, I should mention this as well, you can't just burn CDs to use with the Mega CD as well. It requires modding if you wanted to just play pirate games on it. You'd need to mod the BIOS and all that inside it so you could play bootlegs. If you want to do that, then that's up to you. To make it more accessible, it's not something I would do. But it's a seriously expensive system to collect for the Mega CD, a bit like the Saturn and the Jaguar and some of these other more niche systems are now. The game's going stupid. You'd be paying hundreds for some of the best games on the system. Like Final Fight, for example, goes for silly money now, unfortunately. And Robo Leste, which I mentioned as well, it's another one that goes for, and Kyo Flying Squadron. They all those three go for silly money now, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, if you're a hardcore Mega Drive collector and you've got a big wallet, then get the Mega CD, because there is some brilliant games on it. And you know, if you're a collector, you've got to have that complete collection anyway. It's the urge. I mean, that's why I bought one originally. But you know, if you're just a general retro collector and you just want to play the games and you don't want to spend a fortune, then you can do that quite easily with the Mega Drive, but you can't do it so easily with the Mega CD. So that's it, really. That thus ends my look at the Sega Mega CD 2 in this case. I hope you enjoyed this hardware review, and let me know what your favourite Mega CD games are in the comments and why. And I hope I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.